I've been able to help 79 people get six-pack abs so they can walk around this earth in a body that they are confident with. Trust me when I say I've seen many things as to why people sabotage their ability to get shredded. This video I'll give you the most common 5, which I have seen from my view. These are not the most common ones online because, quite frankly, most of them are garbage. Some of these are tactics, some of these are more principles. To be honest, it's the principal ones that you're going to need to hear more of. Now, we'll start with the tactic. The first and the main reason why you will never get shredded is you simply think this is a dieting down game and you only dial in or focus on your nutrition. Trust me when I say most of you won't get a six-pack because you don't have enough muscle. Your metabolism will run out of its metabolism points, as I like to call it, in the sense that your food will just end up so low because you have such little muscle mass that what you burn doesn't really help you to get the body fat off, and you still end up at like 13-14% body fat because you've just got nowhere to go. You can't take your food any lower. As a grown man, you're eating like, female calories. You've just got nowhere to go with it, but that's because you don't have the amount of muscle mass you need, which is going to allow you to need more calories. So trust me when I say, if you're about to embark on your journey to get shredded, make sure your fitness and your training is at the absolute forefront of this. So what I mean by this is, make sure when you're training in the gym, you dial in with the 4 key steps in order to grow in muscle, which I'm sure if you watch many videos online, you'll know it's going to be speed of repetition, down slow, 3, 2, 1, pause, drive back up. Time and attention. You'll lift full range of motion, essentially go deep enough, don't do half reps. You'll understand the arm path of the muscle, you bring the origin and the insertion of the muscle together, that's how you get it to grow. You don't globally move loads from A to B and expect that singular muscle to be isolated and grow. And then of course, you make sure you're training hard enough, which is done off the measurement from your last repetition, that it takes you 3 to 4, or you don't even complete it at all, seconds to contract that muscle back up. If you contract it in 1 to 2, I can tell you right now, you could have done more and more and more, and that's the reason why you won't grow any new muscle, and your body has no reason to, and no reason to change. Focus on your training first. This game of looking aesthetic was built solely in the gym with your nutrition to manipulate whatever plan you're on to get the body fat off at the end. It is not solely on nutrition. A lot of you can't just think, I'll just do this diet and I'll end up with a six-pack, because a lot of you don't even have a six-pack underneath. You actually need to get in there, train your abs properly, train all muscles properly, create a need that your body is a furnace, so when you do start pulling from that food, you're going to see it drop, you're going to see it change. But most of you are trying to get like this. You're trying to flog a dead horse is the way I describe it. Your metabolism is just in the bin, it doesn't really respond to you, and when you go on a certain diet, it doesn't work the same as when a guy who actually has some density and some muscle goes on a diet. So, first point, focus on the gym first. If I didn't want to achieve a six-pack, I'd go straight to the diet, I'd tickle weights in the gym, and then I'd wonder why I didn't get shredded. The second point, this is more of a principle. Your environment is not set up for you to get shredded, and it's because you don't really want to go through the discomfort of changing your environment. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean straight away in the place that you live in, it doesn't have distractionable foods that are going to take you away from your goal. Because the only reason they're still in there is because you don't want to leave this old version of you behind to come to this new version, because it's a little bit uncomfortable to do. And I know this because I've coached all the guys to leave who they were to become this new individual. As I always say, you need to become the 2.0 version of you. So what do you need to do in this instance? Get rid of everything. Clear out everything. This goes for your food in your cupboard. This is going to go for the people you hang around with on a weekend. This is going to go for the type of social events you do. This is the way you're going to frame your relationship if you're living with somebody. You need to change all of this in your environment, because most of you, there's no wonder that you look the way you do. You're just simply a product of the people around you, of the environment around you. And it's very hard to be one character in an environment which is set up to be a different character. Like, heaven forbid, a lot of you don't have enough willpower as it is. That's how you got to where you do. But now you're going to try and take that version of you with such low willpower and this environment that is not congruent with who you want to be. Of course, you're not going to get shredded. Obviously. It's like saying, like, we're human beings, we can't breathe underwater, but we're just going to put us all underwater and we can't really like leave, and eventually, we'll be all right, then we'll just adapt to the environment. No, we won't adapt to the environment, we'll all fucking drown and die. This is basically what you're trying to do when you're trying to get in shape and you're trying to get shredded. You're all just drowning because you're underwater and you're not meant to be underwater. So Change your environment. This is painful, this is uncomfortable, and to be honest, this is where a lot of the value comes in inside the Gorilla Platoon. By the way, link in the description if you want me to get you shredded. This is where it actually comes from. Me working one-to-one with our members to reframe how they live 24 hours, to reframe what they do on a weekend, to develop their muscle and their ability of a backbone to say no to things. That's where, honestly, like, this is probably the best point of advice I'll give you in the whole video. So if you want to click off after this, treat yourself. But this is the most important thing, to train your ability to restructure who you want to be. You can get all the best fitness advice in the world. It doesn't fucking matter. You still won't apply it because you're just not that guy. We have to turn you into that guy. The next point is you take food too low, too early, in a sense of, you look at it like it's like you're trying to cook something quick. This is the way you try and lose body fat and get shredded. You're like, right, if we just turn this dial up really fast, the body fat's just going to go and away. It ain't going to work like that. You can try and turn the food up the heat up really quick to cook something. It don't really work, does it? Like, let's be honest, it's not cooked properly in the middle, but it's absolutely like cooked on the outside. It's just not going to work, lads. And dropping body fat's the same. I get it with some people like, well, can we just really for 3 weeks turn down the food and turn up the cardio? And I'm like, it isn't going to work. It'll work for a little bit. You drop a kilo or two, but the body is a clever thing. The body wants to survive. So what it's going to do is it's going to adapt to whatever you put it on. The body's such a clever thing. And this is honestly, from a tactical standpoint, this is why most of you have never got shredded, because your body will do whatever you put it to. There was a lull in between, and that's where you'll drop some fat and some weight, but your body will just adapt to whatever you put it on. So where do you go from this new adaptive point? What, more? Probably not, because even if you did drop it so low so early to make that change, you'll not stick to it. You haven't got the bandwidth to stick to it because it's very painful and very uncomfortable anyway. So of course you're not going to stick to it. And so even if you turned all the dials and you like stuck with it, which you won't, it doesn't work anyway. So it's an absolute ludicrous approach. You must staircase, and the answer to that, by the way, is you must staircase your way down. You start with your food as high as humanly possible, and again, because this is going to allow you to train harder in the gym, so you actually can develop some muscle. Because you'll be getting stronger. That's how you know, by the way, if you're developing muscle or not. If you're not getting stronger at all, then you're not building any muscle. If you are getting stronger, you are building muscle. Because fresh air is not moving that new weight, is it? Let's be honest. So we want to start with that food nice and high. Create the need for a furnace of a body. Create the need of good solid output. So that when we then pull a little bit from it, the body's like, oh God, fucking hell, we pulled this. What does it then do? It then drops off some body fat. But it'll adapt. But it'll adapt to whatever you put it on. So don't play all your cards at once. Don't shoot your load too quickly. Just keep it a little bit, drop 150, 200 calories. But ideally, you don't even do that at first. First, you push your output more and more and more, burn more and more and more, create more of a furnace of your body through output and cardio. And when you do need to pull from food, you do what I've just said there. Keep the body responsive, keep it moving. Don't play all your cards at once. The fourth point, this is more of a principle. A lot of you just don't have any grit. A lot of you, when it gets hard and tasty, you will just sack it. You'll just be, oh, no, I couldn't handle it. It was just too hard. And I'm not saying like you couldn't handle being on like 1,400 calories, an hour cardio, and like 20K steps a day, because that's obviously absolutely outrageous. And I wouldn't expect you to run that anyway. But this is more like, for those of you that have just been doing it 12 weeks, you're still on a good, okay amount of food, you'll just get something inside you that'll just go, sack it. Just sack it. It doesn't matter anyway. 6 packs a day. And you'll get this voice in your head and you'll just listen to it because you have never developed any discipline about yourself to stick to one thing for long enough to get to the goal. Now, the reason I can like get a 6-pack or achieve things is because from a young age, I joined the British Parachute Regiment. And from a young age, it was either be up to the standard or go and join something that's lesser than. And when you're given that, when your ego is tested like this, you always rise up to the next point. So I got into the British Parachute Regiment, best achievement of my life. In 2019, I went and tried to climb Kilimanjaro, and it was hard and it was tough, and I told everyone back home I was going to do it. And in my mind, I was like, fucking hell, this is actually harder than I thought. But off pure ego and grind and the ability to get to it, we summited the top. Tried like starting like the Gorilla Platoon, and again, same principle, and here we are 18 months later with 79 results in the bag. your ego will always be tested, but that's a good thing. So if anything, this is probably going to be for the first time in your life, you're going to use this as a vessel to achieve something that you're actually proud of and can look back on. When you're in other scenarios, which you will be in life, of where you're tested of a real character of a man, you've got this now to lean back on. A lot of you don't have that even in this beginning stage. So we must develop that now from the off. And again, this is what we do inside the Gorilla Platoon. We get you to that first point of achieving a six pack, so you know you can do something of hard grit and determination. A lot of you just don't have any inside you at all. So I want you to reframe the way you do this transformation and getting shredded. You're not trying to get shredded. You're trying to develop your character so that you can be the guy that gets shredded, but also you can be the guy that can go through hardship at work, can deal with a raw breakup, whatever it is. You're using this as a vessel to develop your character rather than getting shredded. And the moment you frame it in that mindset, you'll get shredded, not a problem. You'll be able to swim downstream towards the goal because you see yourself as that guy. A lot of you are trying to see yourself as the current version of you trying to get shredded. It's never going to work because you're just not that guy. And you want these quick fixes, quick tactics. Notice how I'm trying to give you principles and a few actual tangible tactics as well, so you don't run into these mistakes. But this is more about changing who you are rather than changing what you do. What you do is easy. That's simple stuff. It's just daily actions. But to change how you think, that's where the real value comes in. And I'd say that's why we get the results we do, because we focused 80% on that and 20% on the actual tactics, because the tactics are simple. You probably know actually the tactics, but you can't apply them. And that's your frustration. The last point I'll give you, and it kind of comes into you not being someone that's consistent, you'll just change things randomly. You'll change the training split you're on because you'll see someone with bigger traps and you'll be like, oh, I've only got 3 sets of traps in my program, right? Well, I better put that in. When you didn't need to change your split, or you'll start doing clever things like, oh, and I need to refeed on week 9 because of this protocol, and you didn't need a refeed. You were dropping nicely. Your performance was still good. You weren't even looking that flat. You didn't need a refeed, but you come up with a good idea that you should go and do this. You shouldn't. Most of the time, get ready to say no to people and also to yourself when it comes up with good ideas. Really what you want to do, and this is how you'll align this, set the goal, underpin that as to why did you want the goal in the first place? Why do you actually want to get shredded? It's not about getting shredded, is it? Let's dig a layer deeper, for goodness sake. Why did you want to get shredded? You'll have your own personal answer. I know what mine is, and I know what the men inside my Gorilla Platoon, I know their reasons. Whatever your personal goal for this is, write it down. Because when it gets hard, or when you are faced at a fork in the road to make a decision, you can always go back to why you wanted the goal and why it was important to you. So then you know why you wanted the goal. So then you write down what the goal is, and you understand how to get to the goal on the straight line. So when something tries to come and veer you off, you remain emotionally centered towards that straight line, towards the goal, because of the underpinning reason behind it. I once heard a good quote from someone, and I'll probably butcher it, but it's he who has a strong why can bear any how, or something like that anyway. But I like the saying, it resonated with me. So that's what you must do as well. You must make sure, why do you actually want to get it? Set the goal, stay on one line to get to the goal, and don't let your own brain take over with fancy ideas, because it will try to do that. Because it will try and find the easiest approach. Because the body likes what? Homeostasis. You absolutely chill villain. So it's always going to try and get you back to that easy point. So you're almost fighting against your own brain as to why you need to get shredded. So they're the main reasons why you'll sabotage your chances of actually getting shredded in the six pack. So don't do them, obviously. Hopefully you found this of value. If you did, subscribe to the channel. And again, if you want me to do this for you, the top link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.